Good morning. On behalf of the First Unitarian Universalist Church of Columbus, welcome to our Sunday service. I'm Amanda Hayes, your Justice Coordinator, and I use she, her pronouns. Let's begin our time together by remembering the land that holds us. We give thanks for the opportunity to build our community in the homeland of the Adena, the Hopewell, the Wyandotte, the Miami, the Seneca, and the Cayuga peoples. Let us take a few moments of silence to honor their connection with this land that we know as Central Ohio. And now I invite you to further explore gratitude and community this morning by joining our chalice choir and singing our opening song, For All That Is Our Life. It's number 128 in the Gray Hymnal in case you have a copy at home. Even as we are physically separate in the midst of pandemic, we have so much to be grateful for, including this community of First UU.
Good morning. My name is Kelly McNeil. My pronouns are she, her, hers, and I serve as the Director of Congregational Life here at First Unitarian Universalist. Whether you are visiting with us or have been calling First UU home for a while, we are so very glad that you are here. Please let us know that you are watching by filling out the sign-in form located in the chat box. You can also scan the QR code on your screen to access the sign-in form, our order of service, our joys and sorrows form, and our donation page. This is week 2 of our online auction. Be sure to go online and place your bids now for food, fun, and frolic items. And mark your calendars for our auction celebration Saturday, February 5th at 6:30 p.m. for a fun party and our live auction items. You can find the link to join that Zoom in our Friday news. Again, welcome to this morning's service as we continue our monthly theme, Living with Intention. Let us now center ourselves as we listen to this morning's prelude. Thank you, Nathan. I invite you to bring your chalice close so we may kindle our flames together. This chalice lighting comes from our Soul Matters packet for January. This chalice shines a light on our shared past, signaling our intention to listen deeply, reflect wisely, and move boldly toward our highest ideals. Our chalice is lit.
Good morning. I'm Amber Scott, your Director of Religious Exploration, and my pronouns are she, her, or they, them. Our story today is called Spoon, written by Amy Krauss Rosenthal and illustrated by Scott Magoon. This is Spoon. This is Spoon's family. On Sundays, Spoon goes to visit his Aunt Silver. He has to be on his very best behavior there. She's very fancy and proper. Goodbye, darling. Ta-ta. At bedtime, Spoon likes to hear the story about his adventurous great-grandmother who fell in love with a dish and ran off to a distant land. Lately, though, Spoon had been feeling blue. "What's wrong?" asked his mother. "You look a bit bent out of shape." "Nothing," mumbled Spoon. "It's just that, I don't know, all my friends have it so much better than me. Like Knife. Knife is so lucky. He gets to cut, he gets to spread. I never get to cut or spread." Yes, Knife is pretty spiffy that way, isn't he? And Fork. Fork is so lucky. She gets to go practically everywhere. I bet she never goes stir-crazy like I do. Fork does get out and make herself useful, doesn't she? And Chopsticks. They are so lucky. Everyone thinks they're really cool and exotic. No one thinks I'm cool or exotic. Those chopsticks really are something else, aren't they? Meanwhile, if only Spoon knew what his friends were saying at that very minute. "Spoon is so lucky," said Knife. "He's so fun and easygoing. Everyone's so serious with me. No one's ever allowed to be silly with me like they are with Spoon." Clang, clang, bang. "Spoon is so lucky," said Fork. "He gets to measure stuff. No one ever does that with me." "Spoon is so lucky," said Chopsticks. "He can go places by himself. We could never function apart." That night after bedtime stories, Spoon's mom turned off the light, tucked him in, and said, "You know, Spoon, I wonder if you realize just how lucky you are. Your friends will never know the joy of diving headfirst into a bowl of ice cream. They'll never know what it feels like to clink against the side of a cereal bowl. Clink. They'll never be able to twirl around in a mug or relax in a hot cup of tea. Hi." Spoon hadn't thought of it that way before. He lay awake in bed for a long time. His mind was racing. He felt so alive. There was only one thing to do. "I can't sleep. Come, snuggle. Come, Spoon." And so he did. Sweet dreams. The end. In this story, our friend Spoon laments not getting to do all the cool stuff his friends, the other utensils, can do, before realizing that his own gifts are just as awesome. In our own lives and within our First UU community, we each have unique skills, strengths, and talents. We each hold a piece of the puzzle to contribute to our shared vision. I invite you to reflect on the many gifts that are shared with you here, as well as what you yourself have to give. Thank you.
Good morning. I'm Reverend Linda Smith and serve as your pastoral care minister, and I use she, her pronouns. To participate in the caring meditation this morning, or to ask for pastoral or practical support with a difficulty in your life, now is the time to fill out the Joys and Sorrows form. You can find it by scanning the QR code on your screen, or by visiting firstucolumbus.org/Sunday. If we receive your joy or sorrow in the next few minutes, we'll read it aloud today during the caring meditation, or complete the form anytime throughout the week to be shared next Sunday and to receive pastoral and caring support. And now we'll have our choral anthem.
No one see the light now. Just don't let it go. Things will come out right now. We can make it so. Someone is on your side. No one is alone.
Thank you so much, Nathan and Karen. Our reading this morning is entitled, Even This Is Enough, by Vanessa Southern. So much undone, so much to do, so much to heal in us and the world, so much to acquire, a meal, a healthy body, a fit one, a lover, a job, a better job. Proof we have and are enough just around the corner of now. And up against it, the reality of all that falls short in the limits of today. We honor the limits. If your body won't do what it used to for right now, let it be enough. If your mind won't stop racing or can't think of the word, let it be enough. If you are here utterly alone and in despair, be all that here with us. If today you cannot sing because your throat hurts or you don't have the heart for music, be silent. When the offering time comes, if you don't have money to give or the heart to give, let it pass. The world won't stop spinning on her axis if you don't rise to all occasions today. Love won't cease to flow in your direction. Your heart won't stop beating. All hope won't be lost. You are part of the plan for this world's salvation. Of that I have no doubt. The world needs its oceans of people striving to be good, to carry us to the shores of hope and wash fear from the beach heads and cleanse all wounds so they can heal. But oceans are big, and I'm sure there are parts that don't feel up to the task of the whole some days. Rest if you must. Then, like the swimmer lying on her back who floats, or the hawk carried on cushions of air, rest in chairs made to hold weary lives, in space carved out for the doing of nothing much but being. Perhaps then you will feel in your bones, in your weary heart, the aching, healing sense that this is enough. Even this, that we are enough. You are enough. Join me now in singing Building Bridges. It's numbered 1023 in your teal hymnal if you have one at home.
Between our divisions, I reach out to you. Will you reach out to me? With all of our voices and all of our visions, friends, we could make such sweet harmony. Building bridges between our divisions, I reach out to you, will you reach out to me? With all of our voices and all of our visions, friends, we could make such sweet harmony. Building bridges between our divisions, divisions. I reach out to you, will you reach out to me? With all of our voices and all of our visions, with friends we could make such sweet harmony. Friends, we could make such sweet harmony.
Let's face it, families are complicated. When we're born, we enter into a dynamic that we didn't choose. And before we even understand, we start to fill roles and try to live up to expectations that are placed on us. Family dynamics are so complicated that there are areas of study dedicated to understanding family systems theory, characteristics related to birth order, and studying your family ancestry through a genogram. Both in seminary and in my social work studies, we spent hours talking about how one's relation to their family of origin impacts every area of one's life. I can't even tell you the number of times someone has approached me and asked if I was an eldest daughter. I don't exactly know what that says about me, but I'm choosing to take that as a compliment. This complicatedness of family dynamics is why I think the new Disney film Encanto is touching so many people. Now, I'll admit that I am totally obsessed with this film right now. I have had either the film or the soundtrack on repeat in my house for the last couple of weeks. And every time I watch the film, I find myself relating to a different character and see myself portrayed at different moments of my life. Now, if you're a parent of young children or a total Disney fanatic like me, you might know what I'm talking about. But if this is the first time you're hearing about this film, no worries. I'm skipping the sermon today, and I'll actually just sit here and act it out for you. No, that's not going to happen. This film follows the Madrigal family, who is given a miracle of protection as they flee from their homes. When the children reach a certain age, they're given a magical talent, something that they in turn use to help their family and their community survive and thrive. From the moment they receive their gift, they tirelessly live into the expectations that come with that gift. Perfection, being the strong one, making people laugh, healing people's injuries, for example. Now, I don't want to give away any spoilers for those of you who haven't seen the film yet, but the characters get to a point of crisis when they realize that living up to these expectations, going through life feeling like the one person in the community who is responsible for whatever their gift may be, is in fact hurting the community and themselves. Mirabel, the main character who actually isn't given a gift, and lives with the effects of being in this amazing family and feeling like she's the only one who isn't special, helps her siblings and other family members realize that the weight of those expectations are unreasonable and that they need to come together and truly be a community that supports one another and lifts one another up. Who among us hasn't dealt with something similar? Maybe you were taught that perfectionism was the rule and not the exception. When I was in the 4th grade, I remember my principal actually pulled me out of class to let me know that our state testing was coming up and that the school really depended on my grade. So she expected me to do well. So began a lifetime of anxiety and a drive for perfection to the detriment of my own health. And I can actually hear Reverend Marion's voice in my head right now reminding me that I need to delegate, that I can't go through life controlling everything no matter how hard I try. Isabella, the character who makes flowers and plants grow, is described as perfect and lifted up as the golden child. But at her breaking point, she admits, I'm tired of perfect. I want real. Perfection isn't real. As we go about our lives striving for this perfection, we miss out on all of the interesting and strange and wonderfully messy parts of life. We shut people out and don't give others a chance to step forward and shine, even if that isn't our intention. Maybe you can relate more to the character Louisa, whose gift is superhuman strength. Louisa is the eldest daughter in her immediate family, and she explains how she takes on the family burdens. She handles the heavy, difficult stuff, symbolized by the donkey she carries around on her shoulders or the bridges she picks up and moves, so that others don't have to worry about being crushed by the weight. But living with the expectation of always being the strong one, never being able to show weakness, made her insecure, lonely, and feeling like she couldn't ask for help. She says, if I could shake the crushing weight of expectations, would that free some room up for joy or relaxation or simple pleasure? Maybe this is the role in which you find yourself. Maybe you're the one who everyone comes to, laying their burdens and their heartbreak on you, and you feel there is nowhere to turn, no one who you can show weakness to. Many of us in this First UU community are in helping professions. Many of us are caretakers to elderly parents or sick family members. And in that caring, in taking on the role or having the expectations on you that it is your responsibility to sacrifice, to be the strong one, the one who doesn't break, you lose yourself. You internalize all of your pain and feelings until you just can't anymore. Like the drive of perfectionism, this always be the strong one can lead to negative health consequences and can isolate us from our communities. We can also prevent others from stepping forward and taking some of the pressure and the weight in a situation. Maybe you're sitting there thinking, I don't really see myself in either of those situations. You know that perfect isn't real, and that you don't really have an issue with crushing expectations preventing you from finding joy and relaxation. Perhaps you can relate more to my favorite character, Bruno. Bruno is the uncle that is missing for a large percentage of the film. Whenever his name is mentioned, it's quickly followed up with, we don't talk about Bruno. We learn that Bruno has the gift of seeing the future. The way he's described in the beginning of the film is that he uses these professorial visions to cause chaos and bring darkness to the town. He's blamed for everything from causing his sister to get married in a hurricane to causing someone to grow a gut and another to lose his hair. The reason he's my favorite character, though, is because in actuality, his heart is so big and he's simply misunderstood. We learn that he runs away from his family because he feels that they would all be better off without him around. I know I've certainly felt this way sometimes, feeling like everything you touch crumbles and that your presence is just making it harder for those you love to be around you. It's a lonely, heartbreaking place to be, to feel like you're doing your best to help, but your intentions are misunderstood. Maybe we feel like it's just better if we shrink into the shadows and let others go about their lives without our interference. But when Mirabelle finally meets Bruno, herself feeling misunderstood and like she can't contribute to her special family, he tells her, "You are exactly what this family needs. You just need to see it." Like the spoon in our time for all ages, it can be hard to see our own value, even when others can see it so clearly. So now you might be wondering, what does this have to do with our monthly theme, Living with Intention? What does this have to do with Unitarian Universalism or our community here at First UU? Well, what you have learned in your own casita, the roles we play, the expectations that are put on us or that we put on ourselves, the ways we go out into the world and live our lives are all influenced by these expectations. The way we come into this community is influenced by these expectations. Just because you walk through these doors or tune into YouTube, you don't magically shed who you are and leave it in a pile out by the trees. We enter this space with all of our beautifully imperfect selves. Maybe you bring your perfectionism and get over-involved in committees and teams and now are feeling the weight of burnout. Maybe you have been in leadership for a long time and feel like if you take on one more responsibility, you're going to break. Maybe you feel like you've been misunderstood and the efforts you've made have gone unnoticed or have been viewed in ways that you never intended them to be viewed. Or maybe you feel like you don't have any special gifts or skills to share, and so you stay in the background. Whatever it is you are bringing with you, I see you. We see you. And the beautiful thing about this covenantal community of over 600 people is that there is always someone who feels the way you do, can relate to you, can love and support you, and can help with whatever it is that you are going through. The key is that it is up to each one of us to decide if we're going to live in the familiar expectations that it is solely up to us, or if we will lean on one another, lift up the uniquely beautiful imperfectness of each other, and come together. This is countercultural work. We live our daily lives in a society that demands perfection, that expects you to pull yourself up by your own bootstraps. But we can build a new way. We can be a community that is a space to learn and grow, that doesn't demand perfection, but celebrates the messy creativity of exploring a new path. We can be a community that invites you to be active and supports your efforts and gives you a space to rest and just be. This type of community is possible. It might seem like something from a Disney movie filled with magic and wonder, but I believe it can be so very real. It is up to us, though. We decide what we build. This pandemic has taken so much from us. Now, more than ever, we need each other. We need each other's strengths. We need to be able to be vulnerable, and we need to have a space where we can be beautifully imperfect. We might not have magical powers inside of us, but we are each beautiful pieces of an important puzzle. The picture of First UU, our community here, isn't complete without each important piece that you bring. whatever shape that may be, whether your edges are smooth or you're a little worn and part of your picture is peeling, you are an important part of this community. You are exactly what this community needs. You just need to see it. Amen, and blessed be.
Thank you, Kelly, for reminding us that each one of us is exactly what this community needs. One of the most tangible things we do together as a community is to share our monetary resources to keep this congregation healthy and to support work for justice in the broader community. Sharing monetary resources as a community means that some of us are scraping by right now and have already made a great contribution to this community just by being present. And it also means that some of us are thriving financially and can challenge ourselves to give more. And some of us fall in between. We are sharing our offering plate in January with Pro-Choice Ohio and Faith Choice Ohio. And today is the last Sunday in January to contribute to these groups. Over the last 10 years, there have been more than 30 restrictions on reproductive health care. And in 2022, the U.S. Supreme Court will rule on the Dobbs versus Jack's Women's Health Organization, which could gut or even overturn Roe versus Wade. Ohioans could lose the federal protection to access legal abortion. If Senate Bill 123, a trigger ban, is passed next year, it could criminalize all abortions in Ohio, forcing those who do not have resources to seek abortion elsewhere to carry their pregnancies, and those who do not to carry their pregnancies to term against their will. And our remaining clinics will likely close. The situation is critical. Your support will help ensure that Ohioans have a fighting chance to make decisions about their bodies and lives, and every dollar will remain in Ohio to protect abortion access in our communities. Thank you for supporting reproductive rights. Please use the QR code or go to our website, firstuucolumbus.org, and click donate to share as you feel called and are able. Thank you for your generosity.
Today's meditation is from Ann Parker, professor of environmental studies, the Naropa Institute in Colorado. I am praying with my body. Life speeds up in a frenzy of email and phone messages. Breathe, slow down, sit, walk along, breathing in, listening to great music. I am praying with my speech, speaking real experience, breaking the chains of money, time, things, speaking words with power to heal. I am praying with my mind, remembering the power of intention, caring. Light and heart pour out, spilling in all directions. I am praying with my hands, holding your hand. I remember this is a gift of love from the heart of the universe. Every moment precious. I'm praying with my hands, holding you dear, you who are my mother, brother, sister, father. Like this, we balance the world. Siblings are we all. Before we read our caring cards and share joys and sorrows, I want to lift up prayers for frontline workers, medical staff, and everyone as we endure another wave of the pandemic. And I want to lift up prayers for the compassionate pastoral listeners of this congregation who advocate and caregive with altruism and good intention. Here are other caring cards. Sincere condolences are sent to Fred and Sue Viero. Fred's sister-in-law, Judith Viero, passed away unexpectedly on January 24 due to a blood infection. A memorial service will be held sometime in the future. Judy's name might be familiar to some of our congregation as she participated in the church's art shows in the 70s and 80s and donated pieces of art. Sincere condolence to Carol Aldridge, whose husband Bob passed away on the 26th. The memorial service here will be on March 5th at 2 o'clock. And our condolences go to our religious exploration director, Amber Scott, and her partner, Brian, who said goodbye to their old beloved cat, Kismet. He was a source of love and joy to many. Condolences can be mailed to First UU right here. We hold our sorrows and our joys, those spoken and yet unspoken, gently in our hearts. As Kelly rings our temple bell, I invite you into a brief time of silence. Use this time to reflect, imagine, pray, or simply breathe in and out. You help us make a beloved community. Kelly will ring the bell a second time as we continue our service.
Our closing words this morning are short and sweet, but so important. These words are from John Morgan. Let us bless and keep one another. Let kindness rule in our hearts and compassion in our lives until we meet again. Amen. Please join me now in singing our closing hymn, number 1017 in your teal hymnal, Building a New Way. Let us sing.
Start with love, that is the seed. We can feed our every need. Peace and freedom is our cry. Peace and freedom is our cry. Peace and freedom is our cry. Without these, this world will die. Peace and freedom is our cry.
I invite you to bring your chalice in as we extinguish our flame together. After our service has concluded, please join our virtual coffee hour for conversation and reflection together. This week's online coffee hour is hosted by our Anti-Racism Allies group. To get to our virtual coffee hour, click on the new link in this morning's email. It is a different link each week. Now please join me in speaking our vision statement together as we extinguish our chalice. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of vision. As we go forth, let us heal and transform ourselves and our world through reason and love. Our chalice is extinguished. We look forward to seeing you at coffee hour after the postlude.